Hi, these comments are for JYL. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. I'm listening to an integrated speaking practice test you sent me yesterday. So in the email you sent me the reading and the listening passage. So let's take a look at it right now. So the reading gives a definition of groupthink. So here's what it is. One process by which groups may make bad or irrational decisions is known as groupthink. Individual members of a group attempt to conform their opinions to what they believe to be the group consensus, even though the result may be negative. These include the desire to be liked, fear of losing a job, or even not wanting to be the one employee delaying the decision that seems inevitable. These kinds of implicit pressures to conform lead group members to ultimately make decisions that each by himself or herself might not normally make. Okay, so that's the definition. And then you have a professor who gives an example to illustrate this academic concept. So let's see what he says. So let me tell you about my own experiences when I was working for a computer company a couple years ago. So one day a coworker and I suggested that we should give our computers a design makeover, make them look more up to date. Market research was showing that new customers said they would be more interested in buying our computers if they looked cooler, um, were advanced, but the outside design looked really old fashioned. At first, more than half the group supported us. There were a few senior managers there who didn't support the design change. One of the senior managers said, "Our focus has always been on technology. Changing the look is an unnecessary cost." Almost immediately, some of our supporters changed their minds. Even my coworker changed his mind. When I asked him why after the meeting, he told me that he didn't want to make a bad impression on the senior managers. He thought that disagreeing with them might jeopardize his chances of getting a promotion by not looking like a team player. What about me? I hate to admit it, but after a few hours of discussion, I started wondering if it was worth everyone's time to argue about this. As more people sided with the senior management, I started to feel like I was the only one holding up the vote. Everyone else seemed to think change wasn't necessary. I voted against my own idea in the end. So we unanimously decided to stay with the current old fashioned, old looking design. But this decision ended up costing us a lot of money. That same year, our competitor came out with a new design that attracted some of our customers and prevented us from profiting from new customers. So that's it. So the professor gives an example from his own experience that illustrates the idea of groupthink. Now, I have the independent speaking rubrics, or actually the integrated speaking rubrics here. And now I'm going to listen to your practice test and let's see how you did with this.
The article describes groupthink as the way that people make bad decisions, although they know the result may be negative. People do this so that they can conform their opinion to the group one. In the lecture, the speaker explains this groupthink using his own experience when he
Okay.
was working at a computer company.
All right.
He suggested that the company could upgrade the design of the computer because they were pretty outdated.
Maybe he suggested that the company should upgrade the design of their computers. I think should is going to work better than could there.
At first, more than half of the workers were agreeing with him. However, one of the senior members mentioned that their focus should be technology, not design. So, some of the supporters changed their mind, including the speaker himself. In the end, the result was
Maybe eventually, I would say, eventually including the speaker himself. He held on to his opinion, and then at the last minute, he changed his opinion according to the pressure that he got from other people in the group.
negative because their competitors released the new design of the computer and the company lost the customers.
Right, and that's how the reading and the listening passage explain the idea of groupthink. So maybe you have a final sentence at the end that kind of ties together the purpose of the sources that you just explained. Okay, so let's go back here. I think overall you're looking pretty good here. Delivery, I didn't notice any major problems. I'm going to say 4 in the delivery, very clear, fluid, and sustained speech. I didn't notice any major problems with your pronunciation, and I particularly liked how you varied your tone throughout your response, and you didn't have a lot of unnecessary pauses and hesitations. Language use. You had, I think, good control over your vocabulary and your grammar with no major problems there. I'm thinking you're probably looking the mid 3 to low 4 with the language use area and topic development. You could have probably explained a little bit more detail about the academic concept from the reading passage. And then I think you did a decent job explaining the experience that the professor used to illustrate this idea further. Um, I'm thinking I'm going to put you at 25 to 27 points on this speaking practice test. I think you're definitely moving in the right direction here, and you demonstrated a complete, accurate response with a nice, understandable organization.